America, welcome to Battleground Live. This is the show where we lock horns with the radical left. We kick ass, we take names, we don't back down, we never quit, we never surrender. From sea to shining sea and everybody in between. Welcome, Patriots. It's great to have you here on a Thursday. So much to talk about. As I was preparing for the episode, I was doing everything I could to, I pull sound, right? That's what Brockstar calls. That's what people in the biz call it. I pull sound bites for the show. And as I was doing that, I realized that I have a lot of sound for the show in only an hour's time. And sometimes I go a little bit overboard. Sometimes things get left on the cutting room floor. But hey, better to have more than you need, right? And plus, there's just a heck of a lot of stuff to talk about. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of the show, I want to, first of all, thank the battle crew for being here. You're like the best audience in the world. And I tell you this every show, and you probably get sick of hearing it, but too bad I'm going to keep saying it. And also the McGroin Nation. I want to thank you all as well, because, we love having you here on this show. The battle crew and McGroins, you're all America first patriots, and this country is better for having patriots just like you. But speaking of McGroin Nation, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Buckeye McGroin and congratulate her for her recent wedding and marriage. I mean, that's a pretty amazing thing. Congrats to Buckeye McGroin. I wish you a very, very, very happy life with your spouse. Marriage, listen, I am far from an expert on marriage, and I try to figure it out a little bit every single day. It is, I'll just tell you this, it's a journey, and it's an exciting one. And it's great when you meet the right person, because they can just take who you are to the next level. And so congratulations to Buckeye McGroin. We love having you here in the show. I hope you and your spouse have just an awesome life. Okay. The title of the episode is Don't Fall for Commie PSYOPS. Do you know why I titled the episode this? It's because I've been on calls with, political groups, let's just say political groups, and who are playing in different swing states. I'm trying to think of a way to describe these people, because I don't mean to, it's not my intent to be negative about this. This is not what I'm trying to do here. So I'm just trying to be careful with my words. But the general theme on this call, and these are people that are leaders in the Republican Party, by the way. And again, not throwing shade here. I'm not, like, one team, one fight. But everyone's kind of dooming about the debate. And on each and every one of these calls, I keep saying to people, you gotta stop. Trump actually performed a hell of a lot better at that debate than people believe, especially our own party. And let me also say this. Kamala did not have a great night. And I don't mean to harp on the debate, but I've got to expose some of the lies that Kamala told during the debate tonight. That's a big thing that I got to get to here a little bit later. But Kamala did not have a great night. I'm going to show you all of that stuff here a little bit later and explain to you why she didn't have a great night. But she did nothing to move the needle. She did nothing to convince this country that she was going to embody the change we desperately needed. And what kept coming to mind is that the media, these Democrats on Capitol Hill, along with their allies in the corporate media, and by the way, I'm trying to get away from calling them the mainstream media, because the truth of the matter is that they're not mainstream at all. These anchors, for ABC, NBC, CBS, these mainstay media companies that have been around forever, they're like totally cool with boys competing against girls. They're totally cool with chemical castration. They're totally cool with open borders. These are communists in the truest sense of the word, and they're anything but mainstream. So we should abandon that term, because it's not reflective of reality. Not mainstream at all. Let's refer to them as corporate media. How about Soros-funded media? Because I guarantee that guy has his hands in the cookie jar in some way. But they tried this in 2016 with Hillary Clinton. Every single debate, it was, oh, Hillary Clinton was amazing. She was the best thing since sliced bread. Trump has a 0% chance of winning. And you had establishment Republicans back then in 2016 dooming, oh my God, Trump's not going to win. Oh my God, I'm going to unendorse. Do you remember back in 2016? There were actually, like, the first time I'd ever heard the term unendorse was when Trump was running, where you have Republicans that endorsed Trump, and then he would do or say something at the debate, or something, would come out that he said 10 years ago. And then you have these very same Republicans saying, oh, I'm unendorsing. That's the first time I ever heard that term. And even back in 2016, the media was trying to convince people that Trump was losing, but he's not. And I'm going to explain to you why he's not, and why the Trump train is just starting to get rolling. I'm going to talk to you all about that here in just a second. But before we get into the nuts and bolts of the debate, and got to talk about Merrick Garland, something that he said. And I know I'm kind of all over the place before we really get into the show. There's just so much to talk about. But smash that like button, that little green thumb beneath the video. We've made the leaderboard every single day this week. And again, that's a testament to you. Okay, so Merrick Garland said something today. I pulled the sound just before we went live, and I'm leading into the show with this because it just blew my mind. Just listen.
Our norms are a promise that we will fiercely protect the independence of this department from political interference in our criminal investigations. Our norms are a promise that we will not allow this department to be used as a political weapon. And our norms are a promise that we will not allow this nation to become a country where law enforcement is treated as an apparatus of politics.
Yes, clap, clap, clappy. It's like, oh my God. This is how dangerous these people are. You see where I'm going with this? It's as if he is aloof to what's happening in this country right now. The fact that his Department of Justice, the Biden Department of Justice, they are prosecuting their political opponents right now. As that sniveling little D-bag stands at that podium, and I heard Bongino do an impression of Merrick Garland. I didn't even realize he did an impression of Merrick Garland. Not that I don't listen to Bongino's show. I love Bongino. I think he's fantastic. But I try to not listen to other conservative influence, other radio host shows, because when I get going on the show, I kind of get in my own headspace and I go, and I don't want to say anything that they say because I want you to hear my take and not theirs. And when you just start rolling, you just start going stream of consciousness, right? So I want what I bring to you, to be original and fresh on this show. But somebody sent me Bongino's impression of Merrick Garland, where he's like, gah, gah. That's exactly how he is. He will not use the Department of Justice. It's exactly right. It's like he's a villain from Lord of the Rings, or from a Sith Lord on the dark side of the Force or something like that. But this guy is literally prosecuting his political opponents right now. The projection coming out of the Biden Department of Justice is staggering. And ultimately, it's dangerous. And the reason why it's dangerous is right on the heels of what he said there about the Biden Department of Justice will never be used as a political weapon, even though they're using it as a political weapon right now. He went on to talk about how dangerous it is for normie and norma, normal Americans, to even criticize the Department of Justice. Listen.
A range of public officials across the country. Over the past 3.5 years, there has been an escalation of attacks on the Justice Department's career lawyers, agents, and other personnel that go far beyond scrutiny, criticism, and legitimate and necessary oversight of our work. These attacks have come in the form of conspiracy theories, dangerous falsehoods, efforts to bully and intimidate career public servants by repeatedly and publicly singling them out, and threats of actual violence. Through your work, you have made clear that the Justice Department will not be intimidated by these attacks. But it is dangerous and outrageous that you have to endure them. It is dangerous to target and intimidate individual employees of this department solely for doing their jobs. And it is outrageous that you have to face these unfounded.
It's outrageous that they have to deal with criticism in any form. Do you remember when the Department of Justice or the FBI colluded with the teachers' unions about parents showing up at school boards, creating basically, raising hell because porn was being pushed on their children at very young age in schools? You remember the whole LGBTQ LMNOP agenda? Remember, went to the Department of Justice with a bunch of fabricated BS, partnered with the teachers unions to do it. And then the FBI, along with the DOJ, went and targeted, soccer moms in yoga pants and ponytails for daring to have a say in the curriculum of their kids. Do you remember when that happened? Yeah, that was the Garland DOJ. The Garland DOJ and the Biden DOJ is one of the greatest threats to our freedom and liberty that this country has faced really in the modern era. And yes, we've faced external threats before, for sure. Very grave external threats. But this threat comes from within and represents a government that is weaponized against at least half the country. But in my heart and in my soul, I just believe we can turn this ship around. I believe that we can do it. I think 3 more convictions, January 6th convictions for, charges, trumped up charges on 1512C in the DC circuit courts were overturned today. So we've gone from 12 convictions vacated to 15. So it's taking time. It should have never happened. These people being political prisoners in their own country and in the United States of America, it should have never happened. But slowly but surely, I believe that we are winning. I believe that we as conservatives can and will win this if we just keep the pressure on. Check this out from America First Legal today. You've got to see this. I want to highlight this. Speaking about Lawfare, okay, this color of change here, this is a Soros-funded organization. And America First Legal says Soros-funded organization, Color of Change, issued a statement characterizing Bragg's prosecution of Trump as a fruit of our labor. Now, see it right there in the highlighted portion. Color of Change PAC worked to help and elect and hold progressive prosecutor Alvin Bragg accountable once in office. We've seen the fruits of our labor. Fruits of what labor? Prosecuting President Trump on a made-up crime? Because that's certainly what it seems like they're talking about. George Soros is one man, but in any sane country, we would not tolerate what he's doing. In any country that was serious about protecting its sovereignty and protecting its people, looking after law-abiding citizens, they wouldn't tolerate what Soros is doing. And so again, the lawfare, though, getting back to my original point, it's just not working. And did you see the news today out of Fulton County? And Scott McAfee, the judge down there, dismissed 3 more criminal counts in the Fulton County election interference against President Trump. McAfee found that Big Fanny and the state prosecutors didn't have the authority to bring some of the charges that were wrapped up in the RICO charge against Trump. So my point is, this stuff is failing. And Trump is ascendant in a strange way. And I say in a strange way because this is a man who they're trying to put in prison for the rest of their life. This is a man that almost lost his life on the campaign trail because they tried to kill him. And when that didn't work, Biden was kicked off of the ticket and Kamala was selected and not elected. And part of the reason why I believe we're in a very good spot, not as a country. I mean, people are really struggling right now. But part of the reason why I believe we're in a good spot is it goes back to something I've been saying for some time now. And that is this campaign narrative. It writes itself. Another way to say that is that the environment that the environment that the Biden-Harris administration has created in this country is just openly hostile to people of all stripes, except maybe the mega, mega, mega wealthy. Inflation is crushing Americans. You think about seniors. Pennsylvania is, again, you know how I feel about the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It's a linchpin for the entire election. It's Kamala's only path to the White House. She simply has to have it. Pennsylvania is the fourth oldest state in the country. I mean, we've got more seniors here than the vast majority of the country has. And seniors, inflation, man, it's a very, very sinister tax on them, and it hurts them a lot because many of our seniors are living on fixed income and their dollar doesn't go as far. And what's frustrating to me about this is because, like, these economic and fiscal policies being pushed by the Biden and Harris administration that put our seniors in this position to begin with is an ultimate betrayal of all of their hard work. The amount of work that they put into building this country into something that, you know, my generation can inherit and be safe and be free and be prosperous, it's hard to really quantify. And so now these people have worked their asses off their whole life. They finally get an opportunity to retire and they're living on fixed incomes and they can't afford to put gas in their car or food on the table. So many of these people, on one of these calls I was on today, you should see the amount of seniors who put in a lifetime of hard work here in this country, who are now having to go back to work because they can't afford to pay the bills. Now, is that any way to take care of the people who invested in this country and worked hard to build this country, you know, worked hard to give their children and their grandchildren a good life? I don't think it is. And I don't think it's going to bode well for Kamala because the conditions in this country are so hostile to the American people. It almost doesn't matter what people say on the campaign trail. I mean, obviously it does, but it's less important. This election is about the environment. And there was a soundbite that came out of Pennsylvania today. Boyd, I'm doing an extended introduction. There was a soundbite that came out of Pennsylvania today that I want to show you. I want you to listen to. Again, I go live on my show at 5 o'clock. I don't hear from people, no texts, no calls all damn day. And the moment I go live on my show, people decide to call and text me. It's it's unbelievable. And I got to show you the soundbite of a couple of voters in Pennsylvania that I think is it just gives you a sense of exactly where we are and how much people are really struggling. But before we get to that, let me tell you about My Patriot Supply. You don't need me to tell you that life is precious, that it could all get taken away in an instant. That's why I keep 4-week emergency food kits from My Patriot Supply in my home. It's got everything my family could need during a crisis. With over 2,000 calories a day, there's enough to go around during times of social unrest, government crackdowns, or God forbid, an attack on the homeland. The food lasts up to 25 years, ready whenever disaster strikes. We've seen mass panic in our lifetimes before, and some of those instances of mass panic didn't happen that long ago. So I'm not taking my family's safety for granted anymore, and I don't think you should either. And right now, you can get $50 off the same 4-week emergency food kit that I keep in my home, and you can do this by going to preparewithvnn.com. That is prepare with VNN.com. Save $50 on your 4-week emergency food kit. My Patriot Supply will send it over as fast as humanly possible. When I ordered this kit, it showed up in one day and it shipped completely free. So go to preparewithvnn.com. Get your 4-week emergency food kit now at preparewithvnn.com. Also, new sponsor of the show. This is the Wellness Company. You know all about the Wellness Company. They sponsored the show very early on, and then they came back around and sponsored us again. This is the medical emergency kit. I talk a lot about, you know, being prepared on this show. I talk a lot about being hard to kill. and how that doesn't just mean being able to shoot a gun. It means being physically fit. It means having good relationships with people in your neighborhood, in and around your home. It means having a plan. It means teaching your children to be resilient. It means being well read. It means taking care of your body. I mean, over that, just be hard to kill. It's a life mantra that you should all embrace. Things that you don't want to do. Oh, I don't want to do that. Well, those are absolutely things that you want to do. Anything that your brain tells you that I don't really feel like doing that, or I can't do that, I might not be good at that, do it. The obstacle is the way. And being hard to kill and preparing myself and preparing my family for hard times, the wellness company, it's so important in that mission for me. Because if things go south, they tend to go south quickly. Pharmacies close up. People clamor for medication that they can't get. Well, the wellness company gives you an ability to protect your family in a way that most people really haven't thought of yet. This comes with all these medicines in here: antibiotics, antivirals, antiparasitics, antifungals. It's got ivermectin in here as well. It's got this little handy guidebook that comes custom tailored to you, and it's made for you about how to take and use and administer all this medication. The wellness company is an awesome, awesome company. You should definitely check them out. So whether we're talking about the medical emergency kit, which is what I just showed you, the contagion kit, the first aid kit, travel kit, these prescription kits, they all contain an assortment of life-saving medications. So rest assured, knowing that you have emergency antibiotics, antivirals, antiparasitics on hand in your house. So wherever you store your survival stuff, this stuff goes right there. Keeps your family safe, folks. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So go to twc.health/battleground. That's twc.health/battleground today in order. twc.health/battleground. Do not forget to use the promo code battleground and you will save 10%. Okay. Soundbite from Pennsylvania. This is an environment election. The campaign narrative is writing itself for Trump. Listen to these two voters in one of the swingiest areas of Pennsylvania talk about where they are economically and how the times are affecting them.
It needs to change. I mean, everything is too high. Everything. Real estate is high. Like, your house is technically worth $300,000-$400,000, and now they want $700,000-$800,000 for the same house. It's like, it's ridiculous. Like, you're not getting anything. You're not going anywhere.
Does that change how you think you're going to end up voting in November?
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Yeah. I think we definitely need the change. It's ridiculous. I mean, we haven't gone anywhere. It's been 4 years. It's been hell. All right, I mean, Linda. Everything needs to come back, come down to a new level, like come back pre-COVID.
To a more affordable level.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, Linda, thanks so much for talking to us. We're going to talk to one of your customers now. You know, as we said, this is a place where people come in and have breakfast and lunch regularly. We've talked to people who come here with their church groups, with their families. And we're going to speak to a mom now, Mary Jane, who comes here regularly as well. Hi, Mary Jane. Good morning to you. You've got a good breakfast here in front of you. I think some French toast and some bacon.
Yes.
We've been talking to locals about the issues that matter to them. It seems like the cost of living really is one of them. Is that something that's on your mind?
Yes, absolutely. You go to the grocery store, and when you would have a big shopping cart, you'd have it full, and it'd be pretty reasonable. Now you take a smaller shopping cart, and it's more money than what the big cart was. It's ridiculous. People with babies, with baby formula, diapers. I don't know how they do it.
What do you want to see in terms of change?
I want to see taxes go down. I want to see the economy better. Housing. It's ridiculous. How do people afford houses? They can't. Adult children have to move back home with their parents because they can't afford the mortgage, because it's ridiculous.
Do you think that's going to affect, how you're looking at this election in November? We're just under 2 months away.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Are you feeling optimistic about things at the moment?
I hope so. I mean, I know what I want as far as the outcome with the election, and I hope it goes that way, because nothing has changed. Nothing has changed.
All right.
The cost of gas, food, housing, it's out of control. And I don't see any end in sight unless there is a change.
Now, they didn't tell you who they were voting for, but I'm coming over here to the live chat. Tell me who you thought those two ladies were voting for. Yeah, now this is the supposed suburban mom demographic that Trump just can't seem to win. Tell me who you think that those two women are voting for in the live chat. And also, let me pause and just say thank you to R. Mellon for the Rumble Rant tip. I'm very, very grateful for you. Thank you. And we love having you here on the battle crew as well. She said, Trump Latina here from Colorado. Love this battle crew. Well, right back at you. Thank you. The live chat is lighting up with people saying Trump, Scalp, Tatone, Lisa, Trump, Dory, Trump, G. Fontes, Freedom. What? Yeah, 28 Nora, Trump. Yeah, exactly. Buckeye, newlywed Buckeye. It's a DJT with the red MAGA hat. Absolutely right. So, like, look, these questions happened after the debate. The debate was in Philadelphia. People don't give a damn about Kamala's rhetoric, her GRE word, word salad, shiny rhetoric that leads to nowhere. America, especially people in Pennsylvania, have had their fill of politicians who sound nice when they say things, but don't do shit when they get in office. People are completely over it. By contrast, you have a guy like Trump who calls it like it is. People sometimes don't like the way he says things, but that guy was the first president in my entire life who actually did what he said he was going to do when he got in the White House. And I think the American people are done with, mean tweets. I don't think they give a damn about that anymore. People are struggling to feed their families. I'm telling you, I get emails and I talk to people every single day that are really, really, really struggling in this economy. Really struggling. All the while, you have Biden and you have KJP and you have now Harris out on the campaign trail talking about how things are just fine. And how do you think America is going to feel where you can't even afford eggs? People in the live chat before the show were talking about the price of eggs today and how it was just unbelievably expensive, especially for seniors on a fixed income. People are struggling, and you have Kamala up there with her facial expressions, laughing with a little hand on her face. Like, how do you think people that are really struggling right now are going to respond to that? It's not going to go well for her. And this is something else that's probably it probably doesn't play well for people who are going to listen to the audio version of the podcast after this, but it's really important. So if you're listening to this after the fact, come on over here to Rumble. And if you only watch this portion of the show, that's fine. Because I know a lot of people would just prefer to listen while they're working out or making dinner or whatever. But this portion of the show is to me is important because, the whole damn show is important, but I want to show you in the moment what we call dial testing. Dial testing is you got Republicans, you got Democrats, and you got independents. Republican line is red, Democrat line is blue, independent line is yellow. And as the debate is happening, they've got this little dial in front of them, right? They like something a candidate says, they turn the dial to the right, and the line raises, right? Hey, as they agree, the line gets higher and higher and higher until it peaks out. When it peaks out, they agree in the strongest possible terms. The flip side is also true. You turn it to the left, the dial goes down. When it gets to the bottom, you couldn't disagree more. What I want to show you here is a focus group. And if you're watching, great. If not, I want you to imagine, and I'll try to talk through this while you're listening to give you a sense of what's happening. But as Trump and Kamala debate, watch how the independent line, the yellow line, tracks with the Republican line. This is in the moment. So all these doomsayers out there saying Trump got his ass kicked and Kamala won and all this other stuff, the media pushing this bullshit fake narrative. But look at how people were reacting to the debate in the moment. And again, pay very close attention to the yellow line and how it tracks with the red line, independents and Republicans together. Watch.
So Donald Trump has no plan for you. And when you look at his economic plan, it's all about tax breaks.
Democrat
for the
line,
richest
blue
people.
line is raising.
I am offering what I describe as an opportunity
Yellow,
economy.
red line.
And the best
Plummeting.
economists in our country, if
Which means
not
they don't
the
agree.
world, have reviewed our relative plans for the future of America. What Goldman Sachs has said is that Donald Trump's plan would make the economy worse. Mine would strengthen the economy. What the Wharton School has said is
Red
Donald
and
Trump's
yellow
plan
lines bottomed out.
would actually
Democrat lines
explode the deficit.
really high.
16 Nobel laureates have described his economic plan as something that would increase inflation and by the middle of next year would invite a recession.
It's a great
Republican,
plan. It's a
Democrat
plan
line
that's
bottomed
going
out.
to bring up our worth, our value as a country. It's going to make people want to be able to go and work and create jobs and create a lot of good, solid money for
Republican,
our
independent
country.
line
And just to finish off,
going way up together.
She doesn't have a plan. She copied
Democrat line
Biden's plan,
down.
and it's like 4 sentences, like run, spot, run. 4
Look at how
sentences
Republican
that
and
just,
independent lines
we'll
are
try
tracking
and lower
together.
taxes. She doesn't have a plan. They had the highest inflation perhaps in the history of our country, because I've never seen a worse period of time. People can't go out and buy cereal or bacon or eggs or anything else. The people of our country are absolutely dying with what they've done. They've destroyed the
Look at the
economy.
Republican and independent line.
So my values have not changed, and I'm going to discuss every one of at least every point that you've made. But in particular, let's talk about fracking, because we're here in Pennsylvania. I made that very clear in 2020. I will not ban fracking. I have not banned fracking as Vice President of the United States. And in fact, I was the tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which opened new leases for fracking. My position is that we have got to invest in diverse sources of energy so we reduce our reliance on foreign oil.
Defund the police. She's been against that forever.
Republican independent
all that
line
stuff up
going
very
up
wrongly,
together,
very
agreeing with
horribly,
Trump.
and everybody's laughing at it, okay? They're all laughing at it. She gave up at least 12 and probably 14 or 15 different policies. Like, she was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out, wait a minute, I'm talking now, if you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar? She went out in Minnesota and wanted to let criminals that killed people, that burned down Minneapolis, she went out and raised money to get them out of jail.
That goes on for 4 minutes. Obviously not going to show the whole thing, but what is remarkable and the takeaway for all of you is that the Republican line, red and yellow, Republican and independent line tracked together. Every single time that Trump spoke, the Republican and independent line rose and almost peaked out. Every time that Kamala spoke, Republican and independence lines bottomed out. I cannot, if you extrapolate this, I cannot emphasize to you all enough how powerful that is, and that the vast majority of independents are likely, if this focus group turns out to be emblematic of the electorate itself, the vast majority of independents are going to break for Trump. Because it's the environment, and Trump is talking about things. Now, he's not talking like a polished politician, but he's talking about things that the American people care about. So did you happen to see Trump and Biden arrive at Shanksville together? They didn't arrive together, but they greeted the same group of firefighters in the same building just a couple of hours apart. I want you to see if you can spot a difference in the reception. Biden and Kamala arriving. Do you even hear one person clap? Look at, nobody even greets him. Here comes Trump. All right, so So then a remarkable thing happened. So Biden's talking to these firefighters, and they're kind of giving him a hard time. And all these firefighters are wearing Trump gear, Trump hats, you name it. And then Biden actually puts a Trump hat on. I mean, listen, it's almost like he's trying to screw Kamala over. Because you remember when Trump said he really hates her, he doesn't like her? To do something like this, and now granted, the guy's like not there, but man, just is remarkable.
Trump hat, I'll give you my presidential hat. Presidential seal on it.
You want to autograph it?
Oh, sure, I'll autograph it.
Huh?
Yeah.
You remember your name?
I don't remember my name. I'm slow.
You're old part. You're an old part.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm an old guy.
And you're an old part, right?
I know you would know about that.
What?
About being old.
Oh, I know.
All right.
I'm a young timer. Huh?
He reminds me of the guys I grew up with. There was always one in the neighborhood.
Well, I'm the only one.
There you go, man. I need that hat.
You want my autograph?
Hell no.
You know my name. Come on.
I ain't going that far.
Yeah, you said you would do a selfie. There he goes. Yeah. Hey, I'm proud of you now. You old fart. Huh?
Just remember, no eating dogs and cats.
Hey.
I'm telling you, folks, listen, like this dude does not like. It's hard like that. It's just a guy just doesn't like Kamala. All right, like let me take a quick break. Make sure you smash that like button, that little green thumb beneath the video. It helps us a lot. Oh, and look at this, a flag from Aunt Cindy. Jen, she said, "Thanks as always for the show. I listen on my drive home. Appreciate it." Thank you, Jen, for the Rumble Rant tip. You are greatly appreciated, and we are so lucky to have you as part of the battle crew. All of you, we love you. Let me tell you very quickly about Genesis Gold Group, and in a little bit, I'm going to break, like, before I'm all over the place today. The American people came forward after the debate because I think that they were so outraged at the fact-checking and the ABC moderators and how biased it was. And the American people came forward and started fact-checking the debate on their own. It's kind of a remarkable thing. But we're going to go through that here in a second. It's just kind of amazing how the American people are doing their own sort of independent journalism and doing everything they can to get the truth out there. This is something that to me, it just feels unique to this election cycle. And I think thanks to Elon Musk for that. But Genesis Gold Group, with so many options available for Americans to protect their retirement or wealth with physical precious metals, it's really hard to know who to trust. Our partners at Genesis Gold Group are a faith-driven gold and silver company that is unabashedly America first. They do not try to hook people with free silver that isn't really free. Instead, they treat their customers with respect and help guide them to securing their retirement. So, visit rumblegold.com today. Get their free definitive gold guide. That's rumblegold.com. Now, listen, Commander Melanie and I had no idea what it was like to invest in precious metals. All I know is that politicians, both Republican and Democrat, generally speaking, suck. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. They have done everything that they can to devalue our dollar over the course of my lifetime. So, you look at the value of gold and silver over the last 40 years, it's kind of trekked up and gained and retained its value along the way. So I'm not saying and take everything you got and put it on gold and silver, or take everything you got and put it on black. I'm not an investment guy. I'm not smart enough to do that. I'm just a humble infantryman, just a knuckle dragger. But if you've got a retirement, it makes sense to hedge that some of that paper money that our politicians don't care so much about spending, and hedge that risk and maybe invest in some gold and silver. And if you're going to do that, you should definitely use Genesis Gold to do it. Again, go to rumblegold.com today if you have questions. Also, let me tell you about Red Beach Nation. Red Beach Nation provides conservative apparel and beachwear for freedom-loving Americans. So whether you live at the beach, whether you're traveling to the beach, or you just imagine yourself there, Red Beach Nation's comfy and patriotic and spangly apparel sure to lift your spirits. I love this company because it's founded by a former counterterrorism officer, a veteran of the Iraq and Afghan war, given so much to this country. Now he's coming back and trying to live the American dream. We should support him for serving us. I love companies like this. And this company, Red Beach Nation, it's just pure Americana, pure red, white, and blue. Nothing really out there designed to spark outrage, although I know Commander Melanie loves sparking outrage wherever she goes. And no, I'm not trying to dime her out. She would tell you the same thing. This is just spangly stuff, spangly patriotic stuff. So come live the sand, surf, and freedom lifestyle with us. Head on over to redbeachnation.com. Use the promo code Sean, SEAN, save 10% off of your order. That's redbeachnation.com. Save 10%. Folks, the people that I've heard from, this is real high quality stuff. They love this apparel company. So go ahead and check them out. And we're very grateful to have them as a sponsor on the show. So the debate, the American people coming forward and splicing together videos or coming forward directly to debunk many of Kamala's lies. And what's interesting is I said it yesterday with Savage Rich Barris, is that Trump had all of the viral moments. And you've heard Bongino say this. What does he say? Campaigns are about snapshots and sound bites. And he's right. He's run for Congress. I think he's run for Senate. I've run for Congress. He's run for Senate. We both had our names on the ballot before. So we understand how this works. And that's really how campaign narratives are crafted. And he's absolutely right about this stuff. He really is. And the reason why that's important, and the reason why Trump is winning the post-debate meme war and social media war, is because he had all of the viral moments. Like, there's a MAGA hat. I thought she was going to have a MAGA hat. Or I'm speaking, like stealing that line from Kamala. Or they're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. like these are viral moments that people have clipped over and over and over again. In fact, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs has become something of a America First anthem now, because some radical left-wing hack put together some auto-tune of Trump saying it, thinking that it was going to make fun of Trump. But what the America First movement did was co-opt the song and turn it into a viral trend on TikTok for Gen Z. And now the guy who created that song is desperately trying to delete it because he created a ton of momentum for Trump. Check this out. Look, you'll see what I mean.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Eat the cat. 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 They're eating the.
So you get the point. Like I'm telling you, millions and millions of views of not just that video, but like kids doing their own dances to that song. Some left-wing lunatic created the song and now regrets doing it. But you see what I'm saying? Like Trump had all the viral moments. Have you seen a single soundbite from Kamala Harris out there in the wake of that debate? None. It's because she just didn't really have a great night. And the people are coming forward and responding to it because I just think that the American people are just tired of the lies. So one of the things was this clip about Afghanistan. And of course, Trump said, I gave him a picture of his house, this guy named Abdul. And of course, CNN went nuts and I can't believe he said the guy's name was Abdul. Like the Taliban leader, his name is not Abdul. Oh, it's a harmful Muslim stereotype to call him Abdul. Actually, his name was Abdul. But here is Congressman Wesley Hunt and Byron Donalds talking about this exact moment on negotiating with the Taliban leader about what he was going to do if he harmed any American soldiers.
He said, why do you send me a picture of my house? I said, you're going to have to figure that out, Abdul. And for 18 months, we had nobody killed.
I'll give you my favorite Trump, my
This comment from Kamala about Goldman Sachs.
The best economists in our country, if not the world, have reviewed our relative plans for the future of America. What Goldman Sachs has said is that Donald Trump's plan would make the economy worse. Mine would strengthen the economy. What
the CEO of Goldman Sachs came out and actually said this just today.
Let's talk some politics. Debate was last night. Not sure if you had a chance to see it or not. Your own economic team, of course, has made news of late, suggesting that the bigger boost to growth would come from the Harris economic plan, at least over the first couple of years. She mentioned it last night. You feel the same?
So that report, which was mentioned last night in the debate, came from an independent analyst. And it's interesting, Scott. I think a lot more has been made of this than should be. What the report did is it looked at a handful of policy issues that have been put out by both sides, and it tried to model their impact on GDP growth. And the reason I say a bigger deal's been made of it is what it showed is the difference between the sets of policies that they put forward was about 0.2%. Okay, so economy grows. Okay, if you took these particular sets of policies they looked at, and by the way, we have no idea whether these policies, these things that are talked about will ultimately be implemented. What was the growth impact? And the differential was 0.2%.
0.2%. So that's the CEO of Goldman Sachs coming out and throwing shade on what Kamala said at the debate. There's no other way to look at it. Or how about abortion? Remember when the ABC fact checker said, there's no state where abortion up until birth is legal. Oh, but Kamala, let's go to you now. Do you remember that? Well, how about this? A citizen journalist came out and posted this right after the debate.
Calling the care clinic in Bethesda.
She's calling a care clinic in Bethesda and pretending like she's 34 weeks pregnant to see if she can get a late-term abortion. Listen to this.
Maryland.
Thank you for calling care. How can I help you?
I am looking to have an abortion.
How far along are you?
I'm 34 right now. I am in a pretty desperate situation. My boyfriend is kind of out of the picture now, so I don't really have any support.
An abortion at any stage is actually much safer than delivering a term pregnancy. It's a 4 to 5 day procedure. We do some basic lab work on you and start to dilate your cervix. After that, we do what we call the fetal injection. A needle is inserted through the abdomen and into the fetal heart where lidocaine is injected, and that will completely numb the fetus so there's no pain. And then after that, we inject a medication called digoxin and another medication called KCL into the fetal heart, which will slow and then stop the fetal heartbeat. And then on that 4th day, depending on how your cervix is dilated, we'll break your water, and then we'll give you a medication called misoprostol. Misoprostol will sort of induce contraction and increase the dilation of your cervix. You're going to have contractions and cramping, and then we'll assist you in sort of pushing in the induction and then remove all of the products of conception. You're definitely going to feel discomfort and cramping and a lot of pressure, but we do give you fentanyl and Versed during the procedure. We specialize in later trimester care. Our doctor is very well versed in what he's doing, and he's very good.
So I'm not like a rare situation. Y'all help women this late in pregnancy all the time?
All the time.
So that kind of seems like abortion up until birth is the thing in Maryland. And how about the ABC moderator not calling out Kamala or fact checking, at least saying, actually, abortion up until birth is legal in Minnesota, which is also the state that Tim Walz comes from. You see, this is all fake bullshit. Or how about they're eating the cats and eating the dogs? One of the most viral moments of the debate. And of course, the media is freaking out about it as if it's some sort of hoax or conspiracy theory. And because they're calling it a hoax and conspiracy theory, that's exactly how you know it's true. Well, this young woman, a Haitian immigrant, or at least her father was a Haitian immigrant, came out to talk about the Haitian culture.
My father immigrated from Haiti to the United States in the late 60s as a teenager, and I want to talk about these recent comments about the Haitians in Springfield, Ohio. First, I want to say my father and I are now estranged, but I did know him in my very, very young years, and when he immigrated, he was one person, and they weren't sending, thousands of Haitians in one area. He wasn't eating people's pets, and he didn't practice voodoo, but he did say that most of the island, the majority of the island, does practice voodoo. The reason they eat cats is for 2 reasons. Number one is survival. This is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. You can't just go to a food bank like you can here, or just go to McDonald's and get some free or cheap food. Unless, of course, there's a Christian missionary there. People in the United States have a really hard time imagining that type of thing, but it is true. Second, they do animal sacrifices for their religion, voodoo. They make these animal sacrifices to these gods for different reasons. You can do your own research on this. Do I think voodoo is a demonic religion? Yes, I do. That doesn't mean that you hate these people. These people need prayer. But you can't just take over all these people from another country and expect it to work. Not to mention, it doesn't fix the problems of that country. And there's more people left in Haiti that we can bring over. It's not racist to acknowledge that this is a problem. It's not racist to talk about these things that are happening. This is not just white Americans saying this is black Americans. You can look at the people in Springfield, Ohio saying that this is happening. Y'all just want to joke about Trump and say that he's crazy for saying that this is happening instead of actually checking at all to see if this is happening. You want to make jokes about these things. Well, what if it were happening to you and your community? And no, it's beyond eating their pets, even though that is bad enough.
These are normal people coming forward and saying enough is enough. Or how about in, Charleroi? This is happening in Charleroi in Western Pennsylvania, 45 minutes south from where I live right now. That community in Charleroi, it's a small town just like Springfield, has seen a 2,000% surge in Haitian migrants being thrown into their community. If you don't believe me, listen.
I've read about the car crash issue. Is that largely driven by...
Yeah, we addressed that last week in our borough.
Larry Salashi, Charleroi councilman.
We've had about enough with that. I've got immigrants in a duplex living on the other side of the street from me, my front main street, and there was a 2-car wreck out there. One immigrant wrecked into another immigrant's car, and it was like, here's the police up here again, and I'm thinking, you got to be kidding me. We ended up that was 3 in one day. Our speed limit.
Car crashes, and then here's a story about Charleroi in the local news about how their schools are overwhelmed and they have no translators.
These are the faces of children who don't speak English and often endured dangerous, traumatic journeys to reach the U.S., who now attend Charleroi Elementary School. In addition to language barriers, there is a lack of familiarity with American culture, American education, and American ideals.
Some of these kids have not been in school at all, even though they had schooling offered to them. They didn't always participate.
The immigrant population here in Charleroi has grown by more than 2,000% in the last 2 years. The majority of the English language learners, or ELLs, in the district are from Haiti. Most left the country with their families, who were then able to find work at one of the manufacturing plants here in Charleroi.
One student today was writing an essay about how difficult it was for him to...
Look, I've seen enough. I'm so tired of our politicians. And by the way, Democrat politicians calling us racist for acknowledging that this is a real problem, that immigration without assimilation is a death sentence for a nation. And I'm also tired of Republicans not speaking up about this. And many of these councilmen and women, there's not a whole lot they can do because the Biden administration is sending people there without funding and just expecting these towns to deal with it. This is how this goes down, by the way. You have the Department of Homeland Security with Alejandro Mayorkas, and you have folks from the Biden administration pointing at conservative areas on a map and just saying, fly these Haitian migrants here. Give them amnesty, give them temporary protected status, make sure that they can't be deported, make sure that they can't be detained, and send them to these conservative towns. Force these conservatives, these people who dared to support Trump, force them to live with the disastrous policies that we are putting forward. And oh, by the way, what's also great about this is we get to dilute their vote at the exact same time and completely overwhelm their systems in these small towns. I'm saying enough is enough. This cannot happen anymore. People really are being displaced here. What's so aggravating about this, and if you can tell I'm getting fired up, it's because I am, is they're using our tax dollars to fly these people into our country and then using our tax dollars to give them the money to buy homes, and Americans are being kicked out of those homes by landlords. They're using our tax dollars to get these people in cars and to fast track them and getting in licenses, get them licenses, which are causing car crashes, having people they're dying, getting hit by cars. It's absolutely ridiculous how they're using our tax dollars to replace us. It should not happen in a healthy country, but the left is a cancer upon our society. This is what I mean when I say they're an existential threat to our country, to everything that we have here. It shouldn't happen in America. All right, let me take a quick break, tell you about Sweetamine. I'm sorry, stuff just gets me real fired up, folks. If you have chronic pain, you should consider taking Sweetamine. Sweetamine works because it's composed mainly of this amino acid that we have naturally occurring in our body called glycine, and that's the nutrient our immune system uses to regulate inflammation. Most of the diseases that make people sick and die these days are rooted in chronic inflammation, and all of those aches and pains that you feel as you get older are also rooted in chronic inflammation. So even if you're in your 40s or something, and maybe just we're in the military like me, and you've got chronic pain, Sweetamine will still work for you. You can use it for recovery after a hard workout. With once daily serving of Sweetamine, most people feel the reduction in pain after just a couple days. For me, it took about a week, but Sweetamine comes in like these little packets, right? Like if you go out to a restaurant, these little sugar packets, you put them in your coffee or whatever, comes in like 8-gram packets. You can put it in a smoothie. You can put it in a protein shake. You can sprinkle it on your cereal, put it in a drink, take it however you want. It could not be easier to take. You just mix it right up in there. Take it once a day. Use it just like sugar. No sugar, no carbs, perfectly safe for diabetics, only has 24 calories. If you don't like it, folks, you can send it back or get your money back. Even I don't even think they make you send it back, but can't hurt to try this stuff, especially if you're really suffering with chronic pain. Chronic pain sucks. It affects everything that we do. So you can even start with a 12-day challenge trial pack. It's only $19.95. It's got free shipping. And if you use the promo code Sean, SEAN, you get a $5 discount. So it's like really $14.95 to get you started on this thing. It's cheap, and it really, really works. So you can buy it online at sweetamine.com. That's SWEETAMINE.com, or call 855-GET-SWEET. That's 855-438-7933. Use the promo code Sean to get a $5 discount. Also, Battle Crew. If you are on the lookout for a top-notch transportation service, whether it's a limo or corporate travel, any other adventure, vacation with the family, you're in luck, because we got a great sponsor of this show called Book a Limo. And I'm telling you, Commander Melanie and I have used Book a Limo before. We cannot say enough about this company. That what stands out about Book a Limo are two things, really. Their prices. They're in line with Uber and Lyft. So if you're traveling somewhere and you grab an Uber black car, Uber SUV, Book a Limo is the same price, except for Book a Limo is a conservative company, and Uber and Lyft are these woke Silicon Valley type companies. I don't want to spend my money with companies that absolutely hate me. When Commander Melanie and I used them, we had somebody show up at the airport, little name on the sign. Our chauffeur was awesome. They were just in a regular SUV, but this guy was amazing. He was on call the whole time. So the level of customer service you get is far better than Uber and Lyft. Also, all your drivers have legitimate background checks, so you know that the guy that you're getting is your actual driver and he's safe. They've all had extensive driver training as well. So really, Book a Limo is extraordinary. They've got this 24-hour day, 7-day a week in-house operation armed with state-of-the-art technology. So if your driver's on call, text message, call them. Whether it's the crack of dawn or late at night, they're going to respond to you right away. It's a full service experience, folks. So check them out if you can. Give them a call at 1-800-BOOK-A-LIMO. That's 1-800-BOOK-A-LIMO. Or you can book online at www.bookalimo.com. That's bookalimo.com. Trust me, they are your go-to for a safe, luxurious ride that you absolutely deserve. Okay, listen, I got to talk to you quickly about this John Kirby story that is really making me angry. This from the New York Post. The White House National Security Council spokesman John Kirby was met with intense criticism on Wednesday after he inadvertently emailed a reporter that there is no use in responding to veteran concerns about the Harris-Biden administration's disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. Apparently, Kirby, 61, apparently intended to send his dismissive response to the White House staffers, but accidentally hit reply all on an email chain that included the Fox News reporter who was making the inquiry. So this is how the Biden administration really feels about veterans, as if we need more proof that they just despise veterans. You know, a bunch of veterans who actually served in Afghanistan were real critical of Kirby when he came out and started making excuses for the Biden administration's surrender in Afghanistan. And then Kirby, much to the chagrin of everybody else, blamed Trump for it. And that really, really, really upset a lot of these Afghan veterans who are now calling Kirby out. And when asked if anyone was held accountable for the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan, Kirby said, and I'm not BSing you, Kirby said we're holding ourselves accountable. It's just, listen, this is really frustrating to me for a lot of reasons. Obviously, fighting in Afghanistan is personal. The surrender there is personal. I lost a lot of friends there. I'm not even talking about that. But the reason why Kirby is ignoring these people and the Biden or the Harris-Biden White House is ignoring them is because, as Kirby said, they're all of one stripe. In other words, they're all Trump supporters. So this is a Biden White House acknowledging that they don't give a shit about veterans, conservative veterans, that they don't care to actually respond to them because they're Republicans. And here's why this is really, it sounds egregious, it is, but this is even worse than you think, because this isn't just like a campaign. The campaign choosing not to talk to Republican veterans. Okay, I get it. But this is the actual government. This is our government. Our taxpayer dollars fund this government. And Kirby, who works for our government, is saying, I don't give a shit about these. No use in replying to these veterans who are mad about how we responded. The government's job, I don't give a damn, Democrat or Republican. Once you get elected, your job is to serve all Americans. But again, that's not how the left views things. And it's high time Republicans woke up to that. And I'm telling you, this story right now, the reason why I'm covering it today is by and large, you're not going to see it on any of the corporate media because they're burying it. Why? Because it would be bad luck for Kamala. And they want her to win an election. Absolutely sickening, right? Of course it's sickening. Anyways, folks, the week is almost over, and I am, as always, so grateful for you. Make sure you smash that like button, that little green thumb beneath the video. Smash it on our way out. I always like to try to have 400 or so likes. Looks like we're going to come up a little bit short today, which is a bummer, but whatever, who cares? Every day is a little bit different. The important thing is we're all here together fighting to save this country. Smash that like button, little green thumb beneath the video. It helps us make the leaderboard each and every day, and we've got a little streak going now. We made the leaderboard, I think we made the leaderboard Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every single day this week, which is kind of cool. Again, a testament to you. So thanks to the McGroins. Thanks to Battle Crew. Congrats again on the wedding, Buckeye. We love you, folks. We really do. Working on planning an amazing show for you tomorrow already. And as always, folks, God bless you all. Thank you for sticking with me. God bless you all. God bless this amazing country that we call home. I will see you all tomorrow night, Battle Crew. See you later. Good night.